your pastry, bakery and quality food, CK Restaurant is the only place to be. We do catering for birthdays, weddings and all related services. We have all kinds of local foods, American, European and even beyond. Come and have a taste of our local juice, ebe and other services. At CK Restaurant, customer satisfaction is our priority.
Are you thinking of owning your dream homes? Njie Investment is here for you. Secure our quality bungalows with 2, 3 or 4 bedrooms, or our story buildings 3 or 4 to 5 bedrooms at very affordable prices with flexible payment plans at our Sanyang Seaview Estate, where you can enjoy the cool breeze with modern infrastructure such as tar roads, covered drainage system, modern electrification with street lights, gated entrance with security posts, and social amenities such as gas station, shopping mall, medical clinic, park, schools, children daycare, and a lot more. Our dedicated team of professionals will keep the estate clean at all times, provide security and patrol team within the estate premises, install latest technologies such as CCTV, Wi-Fi, home network installation, solar panel, and power backup system. Also, check out for our additional home facilities and interior design service such as premium tiling, wall plaster, home landscape, fingerprint home lock, and a lot more. Visit our office at Senegambia Kololi Highway and get a free site visit tour, or contact us on 4464-838. WhatsApp us on 3259220. Or you can visit our Facebook page or Instagram on Njie Investments. Njie Investments, we are first in properties.
When we touch down, better broke down.
With Gamtel G-Fiber, now you can enjoy super fast internet in gigabytes. G-Fiber is affordable, stable, secured, and accessible to homes, businesses, and enterprises. With Gamtel G-Fiber, the future is speed. Gamtel, creating a brighter future in communication.
That's how she became mine and see the
diwli lanni maro lanni
fop lanni
awa joni mi anda honno gerde ten e ngaldo sabu e ngaldo Ibrahima jonnal taw joni mi anda se yahay kapitiki nyawloden ha humpondire makko est ce qu'on non e warude
waden no awa
ane ko Ibrahima ma ko to woni
mo Amerique
ko Amerique a woni kede humpitaki fi be musibe men baluwo be andanda kala ko wawda wonde aduna si arrivi e juude mabbe a jonnay do dépassement Gambia har no weebi ayata kadi taw ko mbudi din no jawi walla no jippi be halanta ma ko kala ko falda ko reise sengo nyamete ili nebba maro basal pomme de terre kala ko rewi don a hendo to har no weebi kadi wona dum don tu be abe jonnira mobile phone siko dum kadi laptop kala ko wayrode dibe ay kasbawa be wawma jonnute kadi sa fala umpitade ko weebi etti Google account ma joni ndata ton wada download app mabbe on ayay kala ko humpi may mabbe ton be weebi ama
ka wonɗa wo e aduna o
kala ko wawɗa
a jonnanayi wonɗo ka leydi men Gambia ɗo dépense
hara no weeɓi ha ma si ɗum no fof no neeɓi immoɗen joni mi ɗowtama ka place maɓɓe jan
waɗen joni
yiya heɓa ko falaɗa
waɗen kisam
Welcome to the brunch on Kerr Fatou Live. I'm Lavin Chan. This week, the IEC has now made it clear that because of time limitation, it will stay with the marble for next December's elections. Well, how much has changed? Are you disappointed or you are in approval with this decision? We will also visit two congresses happening at the moment. That of Doi happening at the Kairaba Beach Hotel and the GDC in Farafenni. We will also discuss about the TRRC and perhaps more importantly also we will discuss the crisis in Senegal. And with me in the studio to do that, I have Charles John Njie, he's the chairman of Tango, Demba Jawo, a veteran journalist, former information minister who worked and lived in Senegal for more than a decade, and Fredrick Tendeng, a journalist who covered Senegal for more than a decade, and he knows the politics of the country very, very well. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Good. Were you surprised when it is now made clear by the IEC that they can no longer go ahead with their much talk about and, much stressed opinion that they cannot handle the elections when we use marbles because of huge logistics that it will entail. But now it looks like they have taken the bull by the horn, realizing that there's no time. No time.
Well, I'm not surprised. I think the IEC really was overambitious in trying to get the paper ballot in. One of the things that in my interactions with them I have said is that you need the buy-in of the people. And if you're coming with a new process or whatever, it's good to have the people buy in. You need to explain what your position is, what your rationale is, and then also you need the people on the other side to be able to accept and also maybe even advise you on other possible options. But just to come and say, we need to move to a paper ballot. I see some of the sense in it. And one of the things I have said to them is, if you think that is going to be a nightmare and you want the people to understand it, go on TV, have 20 ballot drums in a booth, and let the Gambian people see whether that is something that is going to be practical in an election. Because if you see it vividly, then you will be able to identify with what is happening. And the other thing was, if we had a new constitution, this new constitution had made provisions for parliamentary and presidential elections on the same day. So it would have been a logistical nightmare to have ballot boxes for parliamentary, ballot boxes for presidential, ballot drums. It would have been something else. But I think going forward is something that could be looked at. But let the people be prepared and let us go together. Let IEC not lead. We have to go together as a people and say this is what we want, and then educate our people in the new process.
And they said they may use the ballot paper in the case of the diaspora, because they believe it's practically impossible to transport ballots.
Yeah, I mean,
drums and marbles.
Jawo, you have been a critic of this marble. You always advocated that the Gambia must pass the stage of the marble now. So you are disappointed?
Yes, certainly. Well, I'm not surprised at all. Just like John said, definitely I'm not surprised that they have rescinded on that decision. But I am disappointed that they have done so because I'm concerned about, the logistics of, let's assume that probably, maybe not the presidential elections because we don't expect to have 17 presidential candidates. But during the National Assembly elections or any other elections after that, probably we can get up to 20 candidates in one little, imagine one little room, you have 20 boxes, all ballot, these iron drums, sit in one place. You take a lady, somebody, an old woman who is not very sophisticated, you give her a marble and she is to go around looking for the candidate of her choice. She cannot do it. She will just drop it anywhere. Or she can just put it on the floor. So I can imagine the logistical nightmare of having drum boxes. In the case of the ballot paper, all you need is the whole polling station, only one box. That's what you need. Yeah. And it will be in the open. And everybody will be coming to drop their ballot in there. Yeah. That makes it much easier. But I agree. What were the IEC doing all these 4 years? Doing nothing, absolutely. If they were interested in, having this paper ballot thing in, definitely they would have started the sensitization from day one. But they have not done so. They have been sitting down there doing absolutely nothing. So it's a disappointment. But let's hope that. Definitely it's too late for the presidential elections if it takes place in December. Because I'm really, I'm even skeptical about. I'm even skeptical about because there is nothing on the ground yet, and they have a lot of things to do. Assuming that even the new constitution comes into, you have the referendum, you have to register the people, and there are a lot of things they must do. I don't think it can fit in 8 or 9 months. Definitely not.
Fred was also the editor of the Chronicle. Fredrick Tendeng. What's your reaction to now that we have to stay with the marble?
Well, like everybody, I was not surprised, especially with the rambling that happened over the past month with regards to the procurement for the material or whatsoever. So everybody could see this coming. So it's not a surprise. Like him, I'm disappointed. And to me, I have begun asking myself a lot of questions. Will the coming election involve the diaspora? Will the diaspora be taken into account with the ruling of the Supreme Court that says that diaspora Gambians are Gambians and indeed they are entitled to vote? Now that IEC is telling us that they're going with the marbles, are they going to put in place mechanism for the diaspora to vote? I think this is the question that we should force the IEC to ask now, to answer.
They said they are going to use the ballot box in the case of diaspora.
Paper ballot.
Well, let's see how that is going to happen.
They cannot just on their own say that and do that. You need a legislation.
That's it.
So possibly maybe in the elections bill.
That's what exactly. The election bill. Where are we?
They call it 2-system already. They're going to put it there.
And then so we have the span is so short.
Yeah, exactly.
That is for people to discuss issues that are pending in the election bill, and for the IEC to be logistically ready for the election. I'm afraid we are going into something we don't know.
Yeah.
Really? So are you suggesting anything like the elections may be delayed?
Honestly, as far as I'm concerned, there is not enough time to take care of all these things that we are supposed to take care of. You don't just sit down in your office and then implement these things. You need to involve the people. And with 8 months to go, it's not possible. It's not possible to do the general registration of voters because this is a general registration. All the other, voting cards are null and void now. Yeah. Everybody has to get a new card. You need to go the whole country and do that. And then if the new constitution comes in, which I very much doubt, then there is going to be also a referendum. There are a lot of things that they should put in place.
Why do you doubt the constitution? We just let's stray into it a little bit.
No, I don't think the way things are going. Because the thing is, each one of these different camps seem to be bent on defending their position, and there is no room for compromise in this. Yeah. So there is the possibility of this constitution coming into being is definitely almost nil, because the very fact that those who have who voted against it the last time are saying that they are prepared to vote, but on condition. The condition is, Barrow must get his flesh, pound of flesh. That is the, he must have that term, the retroactivity of the term removed, and also he's concerned about the powers the powers of the president being removed away from him, like
appointment
of his appointees by the National Assembly.
Appointees, I mean, cabinet ministers and other senior government officials. Barrow wants to have that thing in his hand and he doesn't want it to escape. So all these are issues that he's not ready to compromise, or his people are not ready to compromise. And the other, camp also is insisting that if there is anything changed in the original draft, they're going to vote against it. So here we are. Yeah.
So you mean even the coming back of Jonathan and the first round of talks?
No.
I think, Cham, this is going just to call it a day. Everybody would now understand that it's going to be a complete failure. To me, I think these politicians are taking us for a ride. They all believe, each of them, that with the status quo, each of them can win. This is just a joke.
Oh, I see.
Oh, yeah. No, each of them behind the doors will tell you that it's fine for him. They all want power and they want absolute power. And this constitution will give it to them.
The politicians
what do you want? So Jonathan will come here. They will discuss, and then Barrow will stay mute as he has. He is a good strategist. Let me tell you, he has never said anything.
Yes.
All along this, he has been sending his people coming to the place, and they won't talk about for him exactly and decide on his behalf. So he's pulling these strings from behind the scene. But the others too, I doubt their sincerity, definitely.
No, there are a lot of people who said that as other politicians or political parties have done, that let's just sacrifice it and get the constitution, because there are many aspects of which are good.
Cham, if they wanted that would have been done for quite a long time. They wouldn't wait until now. The political will it's like the Gambians have held them into ransom since 2016. We've clearly showed all these people that we want change. We want you to be sincere. And none of them dares do otherwise. That is political suicide. They will play the game. But obviously, the way things are going tells you that it has never been the case.
I think the point there is whether the point is, I think it's clear now to Gambians that our politicians are taking us for a ride. They don't take us seriously. As the gentlemen have said, maybe both sides are looking at it from a perspective that we could win by a simple majority, as the constitution is. But I think the message Gambians need to send to our politicians is that you cannot continue to have your way with us.
Yes.
And until, I, honestly speaking, I have really thought about planning and organizing a mass demonstration. No, honestly, because the thing is, until we rise up and say, look, enough is enough. We all agree as a nation that we need a new constitution. We all agree that there are very progressive things in the draft. So why can't we just have a new constitution? For me, all these petty wranglings, retroactivity, this and this, it's just the insincerity of all of us, that we are just playing along with these politicians, and we may end up the same laws that encourage tyranny and a dictatorship are the same laws that we still have. Nothing has changed.
All right, let's switch over to the TRRC. Over the last weeks, it is becoming increasingly clear that the massacre of 2005 had actually been a massive cover-up by elements in the security that eventually misled an international investigative mission. And for the first time, we happen to know or had some idea about the exact amount of migrants involved. Now, where do you think the impact of this really would mean for transitional justice, for the TRRC process itself? Can I start that, Fred?
Yes, I think this is a boost for those who believe that something has to be done at the end of the TRRC proceedings. But it's a good sign for the transitional justice. At least somehow, the families. I always think from the prism of the families of the victims. I think for the first time, each of them is now able to know whether the relative they've been speculating on it has been really killed or not in this thing. And we all know how the state now systematically orchestrated this, who was involved, who did what in the cover-up and so on. And I hope too that the ongoing trial in Switzerland involving Usman Sonko,
our own Usman Sonko.
Yes, our own Usman Sonko, the former Minister of Interior, will now get a boost, because they were stumbling with material evidence, and now you have witnesses coming forward, talking and so on. So it's very important. But again, it takes us back to our previous issue. Will the recommendations after this from the TRRC be implemented? We've seen a lot of things that have been done here, and that have never been, like, these guys are taking us for a ride. Gambians will decide something, we put in place, all the mechanism and the means to get it done, and then at the end of the day, you have 3 or 4 people who will decide that it won't happen.
Yeah. Well, according to the Human Rights Commission last week, they said the government has already showed a lot of interest in implementing whatever recommendations TRC comes with, especially in case of prosecuting perpetrators, because they said there's an expert who is here and they're thinking of setting up a hybrid code or a special code, etc. So
forget about those experts. In this TRRC hearing, we know that the so-called experts who came here to investigate the thing, we are taken in a nightclub, they were given girls, they took alcohol, and they went home. That's one thing. So this expert thing is, is very, that's it. But the second aspect of it is the government's commitment to being serious in this transitional justice thing is always questioned by Gambians based on the signals they really give to Gambians. When you have a Minister of Interior who was seen in 2016 always with his stick, strolling between Kairaba Avenue, Banjul, and everywhere, Talining and whatever. It's all over. It's still on social media. Promoted, kept as Inspector General of Police, and then promoted to the rank of Minister of Interior, adversely mentioned like this, and the guy is still serving seriously the regime. There's a problem. And you have all the enablers that made all these atrocities that we had at the TRRC happen, who are still serving close advisors to the president. One of them preventing the president, when he won the election, to go to the national television to address Gambians who voted him in. Then you have a problem. That's the reason why people are questioning the seriousness and the political will of this government. And we saw the Jane Commission on the financial dealings of Yaya Jammeh. Recommendations were made, and the guy cherry picks, and he has people who sit around him who are definitely mention them, clear recommendations, asking them not to serve. So this is the reason why Gambians are still skeptical, and it's genuine.
Sorry.
Yeah. Of course, I agree with Tendeng that the political will is really questionable on this government about implementation of some of these recommendations. But I think in the case of the TRRC, the whole world is watching. Everybody is focused on it. So I cannot see how, I don't think the government has much room for maneuver in this case. They cannot treat it like they treated the Jane Commission. Cherry picking as to who they want to be prosecuted or who they want to be excluded from it. In this case, honestly, I don't think so. I agree with him that even the very fact that people like the Interior Minister, who has been so adversely mentioned in almost every aspect of it, including the arrest and torture of people like Solo Sandeng and all the others, he was right in the thick of it, and yet you have not only stopped at retaining him as Inspector General, but even went ahead and appointed him as. These are all worrying signs. But let's assume that they are waiting for the TRRC to submit their report.
That's
probably they're going to act on the report, because definitely people like Usman Sonko, people like the other NIA chap, Alaji Moore. I cannot see how they can just stay in Europe and escape there. I think the government will definitely, after the report has been submitted, will demand that they be repatriated, they extradited to this country and face justice.
But you see, what Mr. Tendeng has just said is the issue that we are contending with. I think the greatest failure of this government is to do a proper security sector reform. If you know or even suspect that a security agent was in any kind of dealing that was unconstitutional, you cannot afford to promote that person. You cannot afford to give them any responsibility.
To keep them in the system.
And Njie, you are taking this that you don't think there will be room for maneuver. I think this government has shown us outrightly that they don't care. Because if these people, who does not know that Yankuba Sonko was there when Solo was tortured, was the IGP. When Dabo and others were arrested, who was the IGP? And you sanctioned it or you endorsed it by your own presence. And for you now to bring him and make him Minister of Interior, Internal Security, is an affront to Gambians.
Yeah.
So for me, I mean, we can say all we want, but we must also not only sit and wait and expect the government to play ball. We the citizens must put pressure on the government.
In that aspect as well, I'm even worried because the thing is, if you put those same people in charge of the system, we've seen what happened in the case of the police diaries, for instance. When Usman Sonko took the diaries and destroyed them, evidence. And then if you put those same people in charge of the system and the evidence is there, I mean, that's why I'm still concerned about what happened at the NIA. NIA was a crime scene and they put the same people in charge of the place. Most of the, evidence has been destroyed.
That's exactly what I wanted to say. Yes. Let us put it to this, let us put it to this perspective, for example. The TRRC make recommendations. You have a lot of security aspects involved that people have to be charged or investigated by the police or whatsoever. Who is going to do that? Yankuba Sonko?
The people that are in charge.
The people that are in charge, the people that you name, the people serving at the NIA. This is the thing. So the government can prove its intentions, can show that it has political will by doing, like right away, he has been advisedly mentioned or whatsoever, you put him aside. Okay, man, go and sit down and rest until we get this thing clear. A lot of people have been mentioned. They have the list, they have everything.
That will at least bring some assurance. But then they said they wait until the process is finished.
Well,
no, but that's just an excuse.
They're not waiting. They're acting. They're
just buying time.
I think that's an excuse.
All right, before we move to the Senegal crisis, the PPP was in turmoil last week. I don't know, without trying to take sides. Keba Jawo said his rival, Tuma, was a bit indisciplined, while Tuma said actually it's OJ who's trying to destroy the party. OJ denied that. From your perspective, what do you think is wrong in the PPP?
I think the PPP has outlived its usefulness.
Wow.
Yeah, because this is not the first time this is happening.
Yes.
They did it when Papa Njie was elected. Papa Njie now is serving as ambassador or high commissioner to Gambia in Nigeria. And now they are getting another leadership crisis. I think they should just close shop and because they have lost respect in the sight of Gambians. I don't think Gambians are taking them seriously. They should close shop and join other parties.
Yeah, I think PPP definitely has a problem. You've seen, as I said, what happened in their first Congress, when Bibi and Papa Njie, locked horns and eventually Papa Njie won. Some people were saying, of course, certain critics were saying that OJ was the one who was manipulating the system. I'm not saying that, but some people definitely were saying that.
Denied.
And now, again, the same scenario has emerged in last Congress here, because we all heard OJ saying that he was giving it to the young people.
Yes.
But you cannot. Keba Jawo is definitely cannot be counted as a young person. I think what they should have done was, I'm not sure about Tuma, whether she was actually probably. There is an element of chaos or arrogance or whatever in there. But if you are saying you are giving it to the young people, encourage the young people to come forward and take over the party. But anyway, I don't think so, because the thing is, what has happened in the case of Papa Njie, for instance, he was elected leader, and then suddenly he jumped ship and then went into the diplomatic. Here they are in the same position. Keba Jawo has been elected. We all know Keba Jawo hasn't got a job as well. Yeah. Suppose Barrow appoints him something else. Probably he can also do what Papa Njie did. So you see, where is that going to leave the PPP? I think definitely they need to put their act together.
And just to say this, I think this is the danger of having political parties centered around individuals. If the structures are not strong, and mind you, it's the same concern some people have with UDP, that if you center your political ideology and your structures around an individual, when that individual moves out, then there is utter chaos. And that is what I think Gambia we need to graduate from. Our political parties must be structures that have a transgenerational mindset, that if I'm not there as the founder and the leader, the thing should still thrive. But if you as the leader want to impose everybody that is going to be in position, you're going to have a problem.
I think PPP, it summarizes exactly what you said. PPP is suffering from its inability to rebrand itself after the coup d'etat of 1994. Jammeh made sure that PPP was seen as the black sheep and the reason for every problem we have in the Gambia. For all along, his ruling, PPP was his scapegoat. So PPP, it took a time for PPP to stand back again, and PPP was never able to rebrand itself, to reshape itself, give a certain content to what the party should be, and that's exactly what we are seeing happening right now. You have a problem of generational transfer of the leadership and so on, and it is a normal period of turmoil that the party has shown. I hope that they get out safe out of this, but the signals they're giving are definitely worrying.
All right, let's move on to Senegal now. Well, over the past days or so, we've seen there have been turmoil in the streets of Dakar, Bignona, Saint-Louis, and other places in connection, as is rightly called in Senegal, affair the Ousmane Sonko. Fredrick, just tell us, give us the background. Where did this whole trouble start?
Why, Fredrick? You should have started with the Fuller.
No.
Well, I think the origins of this have to be revisited. I'm happy that Jawo is here with Macky Sall coming to power. When Macky was creating his political party, APR, he based it on, he emphasized some aspects like the value, the dignity. He called it APR Yakar. And he created a small coalition with some political parties that they call Dekal Ngor, that is to restore dignity. And people used to see Macky through that angle. In between, they realized that Macky did not get rid of the old political class that served Senghor, that served Abdou Diouf, that served Ablaye Wade. And mind you, when Macky created APR, he told the young Senegalese and everybody that, Njie can be a witness, that coalition Sigil Senegal that has Mustafa Niasse is fine. I can be with you, support you in your political act. But I'm a young man. I want a generational change in the political landscape of Senegal, and we are going alone for the presidential election. And that's the reason why he won, because everybody followed. But in the course of the exercise of power, this guy got all those old men around. And then you have a lot of political transactions outside, with arresting Karim Wade, negotiating with the father via Qatar and whatsoever, getting him out and so on. Senegalese are seeing this happening. They saw people like Khalifa Sall, who was very popular, being stampeded on. Khalifa also was so respectful of the late Ousmane Tanor Dieng, who allied himself to Macky Sall, and Khalifa did not want to embarrass Ousmane Tanor Dieng, and was adopting a low profile, but Macky knew that this guy could be a danger. Khalifa eventually arrested, he capitalized on his mistake, got him jail. And you have at the side the emergence of somebody called Ousmane Sonko, a young man who came and who again capitalized on the same discourse Macky has taken, that the generation has to change, the way things are being done have to change. There should be ethics in politics. The youth should be given the power to exercise and so on. And this guy is everywhere, all over the world, all over the place, unveiling each and every day scandal in the Macky regime. So he is definitely becoming, a pain in somewhere of Macky Sall. And they feel like they have to get rid of him. That's the suspicion at least everybody has. Now, allegations on rape are very serious ones. I think rape is the most heinous thing a man can do to a woman. It steals away his dignity and so on. So we should, I think, let justice follow the course. But Senegalese have the perception that Macky has always been able to maneuver and manipulate the judiciary to get his way out. He did it with Karim Wade, with Khalifa Sall. He did it with a lot of people. And that's the reason why the trust people should have towards the judiciary is what is on there. And, you have Sonko supporters coming up because they are youthful, they are energetic, and these are the youths with the social media and so on. As you can see, internet was even somehow restricted for the past days in Senegal. That's it.
Now, there's a problem of credibility with the allegation itself from the very source. Like the Aji Sarr claimed that she was raped by Sonko at this salon. When Sonko said wherever he would go there, he always go with somebody.
You know, it's difficult to debate what has really happened because this is between two adults in a close place, so nobody can really say what has happened. I think the gendarmerie, one thing I am sure, the Senegalese gendarmerie is very skillful. As we speak, they know what has happened. I am sure.
But they didn't say anything.
They can't say anything. It is when they investigate, they give it to what they call juge d'instruction, where Sonko was supposed to go on, was it Friday or Thursday? Thursday, to be had. That is the investigation by the Section de Recherche Gendarmerie. These are the investigators. What they got, they gave it to a judge. They call it juge d'instruction, who would confront Sonko with what they get during the investigation, and then from there, press either forward the charges or drop them. That's Sonko on his way going. Came across gendarmerie or security people who told him you should take the other way because they were afraid that on his way going to meet that judge, his followers would follow him, and then you have a crowd. It's okay now, you take this way. Sonko said no, and then he got arrested, and there you have the chaos. That's it.
Yeah. So has he appeared before this judge?
Yesterday he appeared before the judge, but he asked that something be adjusted. This is a procedural thing, and it is rescheduled for Monday.
On the charges of the rape or now?
No. This time.
That's the interesting thing.
The interesting thing is, it's not about the rape that he has been arrested.
That's what
he's been arrested
that
because
has disappeared.
Yes, he's been arrested because he refused to use the direction the gendarmerie has given him.
What the law says he should go this way.
Yes, and then they as how to call it, they assimilated to incitement to insurrection and disturbance of peace and whatsoever. This is what he has been charged for.
And not rape.
No, not rape for the moment.
I really agree with Fredrick's analysis of the situation in Senegal. I agree. It's just like what we have said about the PPP. It's a generational issue as well. Macky came to power and he retained those old people. Those old men, and because the young people actually were given the impression that this is their government. But now they have been kind of disappointed that the government still remains in the hands of those dinosaurs or whatever. It's a very good analysis of the situation. But I also agree that Sonko can be blamed also for what is currently going on in Senegal. If we had gone to answer, this rape case is a very serious issue. I have absolutely no doubt that Aji Sarr must have been kind of used by certain people who were aiming at getting at Sonko. There is no doubt about that. Whether the rape charges are, true or not, that's another issue altogether. But it was Sonko's duty to go and answer.
Who said he cannot use? He can use
that's a different thing. But what I'm saying is, he should not have been waited for his parliamentary immunity to be lifted. He could have gone and answer, and then they would, because to prove rape case, that's the onus is on the lady. She's supposed to prove it before it. So and it's not easy. So if you had gone there, probably, the case would have been finished. But he came out with making a press conference, inciting people to come out that he's not going to answer until they had to go to the National Assembly to lift his parliamentary immunity. On the question of him not being allowed to pass on a certain route, that's another. The thing is, he wanted to pass by the university. We all know what it would have resulted. We all know it was deliberate on his side. He wanted to pass by the university, and then that would have been chaos in Dakar. And to prevent that chaos, they definitely had to prevent him from passing that route. I think they were.
Was he bailed?
Was a legitimate concern.
Was he bailed?
No, he has not been bailed. He's still in detention. I think what we are confronted here is a tug of war between two great political strategies of the time. Sonko understanding that this is politics behind it, but Macky also using politics to get rid of Sonko. Sonko has been unveiling a lot of scandals that have gotten Macky Sall into trouble. All this oil thing that
Oil
scandals that
thing, yes.
Sonko is behind everything.
Right.
All the deals between Macky, the brother, the family, and whatsoever.
The oil company.
It's Sonko. You know, a case has been brought against him. He got out of it scot-free. And then this one, they will use also to get, like, Sonko would attack Macky Sall, unveil the scandals, show how bad he is, how corrupt he is, and whatsoever. You cannot blame Macky for also looking for the other way to get rid of Sonko. This is politics at play. Then, the thing is, Sonko now understands that without a popular support, he's done. And that's why he called that press conference.
But you see, this is where maybe I agree with DA. Maybe he could have gone. But you see, when incumbents begin to play these games, then they are playing with fire. Sonko knows he has a critical mass of people that support him. He does not want to fall in the same trap as Karim and Halif Hassan.
Exactly.
So he has to, one of the key things about war is self-preservation. So he knows that this is a political game. And I think it's being proven. There are charges of rape. But he's not being charged with rape now. He's now being charged with incitement and all that. So you see, and I think if we have to bring this home, our government should be able to look at these things and learn. But unfortunately, people that are in power will just be saying, no, this can never happen to Gambia. What is happening in Senegal is beyond Sonko. It is young people that are frustrated with the system, like we have here. Young people that are seeing that it's the same things as we used to see in the old system. And young people that want a better life for themselves. People that are fighting with the impact of COVID-19 and its attendant problems that it has. Young people that have finished university that don't have employment. People that have the whole wide world to compete with. That look at my fellows in other countries, how well they are thriving. But look at me in the poverty that I'm surrounded with. Opportunities are not there.
So they capitalize on it.
So they capitalize on it. So it was, Sonko was just the spark. But the real thing, the fuel was already all over the country. And I think our government should take note. These politicians should stop playing with people's lives and take our destiny seriously. And that takes us to the Constitution, that they must do something about the Constitution.
I think Sonko, like you said, Sonko actually was able to bank from all the frustrations of the Senegalese youth. And in the Gambia here, we would be absolutely wrong if we think it can't happen. We got the signals from the youth of the Serekunda market, you remember how all a sudden, from a small spark, it all went astray. And, exactly, exactly. So, and in Senegal, you can see the youths who are frustrated, who can't get a job, who feel like the government is corrupt. See their reaction. You see in this rampage and all the demonstrations, they have symbols that they are attacking. They are attacking Shell. They are attacking Auchan. This is a French supermarket.
I was going to ask, what is the French connection? I mean, because
they feel like Macky is a puppet to the French connection, and the Macky is there to serve the French interests. He gives every contract to the foreigners. Autoroute, the highway, the toll road. It is Eiffage, Shell, and all those other foreign companies in the offshore exploitation. Total, in fact, has even won contracts for the petrol stations all along the autoroute repairs. And then you have the same thing with Auchan that has come, that you see the middle income businessmen, sellers, who are the majority of the Murid, the Tijans and whatsoever, who feel like Auchan is competing them because Auchan is selling what they are selling but at a lower price. They are all angry. And these are the symbols that they are attacking. That's what they are attacking. And it tells you how they have accumulated all along that time frustration, seeing that the government is corrupt. And again, let us not think that it can't happen. We got the signals. We got them here at the Serekunda market. We got them, and the government panic. And the same thing is happening to Macky. He's panicking. The reaction from the government is, the government went silent, and then you have the Minister of Interior saying the law shall prevail, and so on. We will arrest. We already have 4 people killed because they're shooting. Yesterday I saw a gendarme who lost completely his arm. It was cut. So it tells you that governments better start thinking about what the people. And people are very intolerant. One of the things Senegalese, in fact, can't digest is the fact that Macky is playing with their nerves with regards to his third term. They want him to state clearly whether he's going to stand for the coming election. He's not. He's not doing that.
But he did not say specifically.
This is another reason why they are very, very frustrated. Some people are believing that if we don't capitalize on this and send clear signals to this man that he should not be here, game over. And that's what they are doing actually. They are all showing him that, we don't want you. It's now, and then, yeah. That's it.
Oh, that's true.
All right. I'm going to the Doi Congress where our landing CC is there just to brief us. Landing, can you hear me? Yes. How is the atmosphere at the Doi Congress? Because Doi actually Congress is always unique. How is the atmosphere like the Kairaba?
Right now the atmosphere at Uba Joe is quite conducive for everyone.
So it's a carnival.
It's a carnival. It's a carnival right now, and the people are gathering in large numbers. More than close to 50 to 55 people, both commercial and private people, are gathering here. But the leaders of the PDIS, who is PDA Jaga and Khalifa Sallah, are yet to be around. But we've seen the likes of Samsar and Shuebu, the parliamentarians, here mobilizing the crowd. And right now with me, I have the head of their media, the PDIS media, Kerr, who will be telling us about today's activity.
All right. Kex. Yeah. How can you describe the atmosphere? What is this carnival? When is it going to start and when will it end?
Yeah, actually, we are starting the carnival any moment from now. Moving from the buffer zone, going towards Banjul, the capital, and around the entire Banjul. Coming out of Banjul, usually the hiding street, going to the turntable or the traffic light, then go into Abitel Highway, then to Lazikunda Jama, and going towards Njie, from Njie to Sipagara to Bambo, then Bambo to Nusra Johnson Highway, going towards up to Brikama.
Wow.
And away coming from Brikama, then we will use the Lamen Tabokoro Road up to the political bureau.
Wow, that's quite a long journey today. Huh?
Indeed, it is almost whole day activity today, and the purpose of this is basically just to build a wave because we have agreed for the coalition agreement that this is a transitional government, and all political activities apart from the coalition should stop. We all come together and support the coalition agenda, and Doi has adhered to this agreement, and we refuse to organize any political activities during the time of the transition, so that we will adhere to the agreement that we have made. So for the 4 years, we have not doing any political activities in the name of Doi. But since IEC has used this as a constitutional requirement for people to conduct their election, Congress before the 15th, we use the opportunity to build a wave and call our members to tell that they are still alive, so that we will have this caravan to allow our people that we are still alive, we are here. This is why we put the caravan in the Congress.
And what will happen tomorrow?
Tomorrow will be the Congress at the Kairaba Beach Hotel, where the parties will give us the members that we, or the executives that we tasked with the responsibility of the party for the past 4 years. They will come before us and tell us the financial statement of the party, what were some of their activities, the activity report, and they will give us the management, how they manage the institution for the 5 years. They will give us the breakdown of their whole tenure of office, what has transpired, how many money has came through the party, how it was spent, and what were their activities, what were their plans, and what is the plan for the 2021 election. And we will have an election of executive positions whereby people will buy into positions that are necessary for the people share the affairs of the party for the another 4 years to come. And we will have the flag bearer or the presidential candidate will be announced there, who will be the Secretary General of the party.
Wow, Kex, thank you very much for now.
Mr. Cham?
Yes, Landing.
One question for Kex before you will take a leave of course.
Mm-hmm.
The speakers that the PD supporters are wearing this morning, this afternoon, the speaker behind the speaker is saying that a new Gambia for a new Gambia. I want to ask Kex, what does this mean? Is it that the PDIS are going to have the new leadership for us, we believe that we must nurture a new Gambian. If you said a new Gambian, you must put out a new Gambian. And who is that new Gambian? That is a person who believes that he's a citizen irrespective of his political, irrespective of his tribe, irrespective of his gender, irrespective of his religion, but he see or herself as a Gambian citizen first before associating himself with his tribe or with associating himself because I'm a Mandinka group or I'm a Wolof group, then I will be in the Wolof side, or I'm a Christian or I'm a Muslim, then I could be in the Christian side, or I'm a woman or I'm a woman, then I could be a gender bias. So we say that you must have that Gambian who will nurture in his or her head that he's a Gambian and he must promote the agenda of Gambia, refuse to be divided by any affiliation or any tribe or any religion, but we see himself as a Gambian. That's what we mean by a new Gambian. Because this is what we failed to achieve for the past 54 years. People try to identify themselves based on the group they see themselves rather than see themselves as a Gambian. So this is what we want to know. So that's why today we want to have a new Gambian that will see within ourselves that he's a Gambian irrespective of his political, irrespective of his tribe, irrespective of his religion. But he's a Gambian for us. That's the new Gambian we want to be.
All right. Thank you very much, Kex and Landing. Well, gentlemen, were you surprised as drumming in the background? Though
I think it's
totally opposed to.
Yeah, it's a revolution. It's a revolution on course.
Yeah, but I think they've started doing the drums for a while.
I mean, it's a way of attracting people.
Yeah, a real cultural revolution. Yeah.
You have to adapt to a situation, and that's the situation in the Gambia. So you have to adapt.
They always have a unique way of doing things.
Yeah, but you know, Doi probably has realized that the problem PPP is ongoing. That is not rebranding, not adapting to the situation, to the new, how am I going to the electorate. That is the demographic of who can go to vote. Doi has understand that and is actually adapting itself to that.
But will that translate to a new leadership for Doi? Because you see, I mean, with all the shout about democracy that we have, I mean, these old guards cannot just continue being in the helm of leadership.
Yeah.
Why not hand over and, you guide the young people?
What they said, the leadership, the general membership of the executive will be people below 45.
The what?
Not more than 45.
The new leadership?
That they're trying to build.
Okay, we'll wait and see. And then who will
not the leaders.
And the flag bearer still going to be the
old guard? Not those ones, yes.
No,
it's very unlikely that, they can sideline people like Khalifa or Syria or...
No, that's
no, but Njie, this is the thing we are saying. If political parties are all built around individuals, it does not help. For me, I think Khalifa and Syria could have done an honorable thing to say, okay, look, just like OJ, that look, we are in our 60s, 70s or whatever. Let a new generation come, we will guide them. And they operate from the background. They become.
Let's see what would happen at the Congress.
Yeah,
but I don't see the change of flag bearer happening in Doi.
Well, I mean, this is not the Congress is definitely not the place where they can pick a flag bearer. We have not reached that level yet.
That's what they said.
No, I think that's what they're going to.
But that's what they said.
That's what they
said.
Because this is the Congress just before the presidential elections.
Right.
I don't think they are going to have any other one.
Yeah, he mentioned tomorrow being the day.
Do you even fancy Doi going into an alliance with any party?
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, Doi can do that.
I think they will be.
It's possible, yeah.
I mean,
which one?
No party in this country can go it alone.
Which one do you think they are likely?
Well, but as Fredrick said, if the two political parties, UDP and NPP, are angling that they could go by simple majority. And that's the danger of having the 1997 constitution with elections.
That's it.
Because if a candidate has even 25% of the votes,
all you need is just one vote ahead of your next opponent. You have.
So you could be leading with a minority.
That's why I think that President Barrow would be happy to go to the elections with this 1997 constitution, because at the moment the way things are, it's likely that he
on the contrary, many people think that the NPP are concerned that they may not have a chance with this 1997.
So. Here you are dealing with people with a lot of money, and Barrow has those people who are backing him. very, very rich people, That's why you see with the new pickups all over the place. So, and Gambians are very poor people. It's money that talks in this country.
Well, but the vibes out there too is that the UDP are not very comfortable with going into a coalition, because there is the thing that they have not shown themselves as a coalition-worthy party. So they think that they could just go by simple majority.
Yeah, but
there is also that conversation that, because right now, look at it this way, Barrow is now initiating the revival of a constitution. If UDP is okay with a coalition and they are sure of winning, why not just support the constitution retroactivity or not and go to the polls and win? And Barrow doesn't even have a second term.
Yeah, I think if we get the new constitution, that coalition thing would have been resolved altogether.
Of
because
course,
each of the parties can go on their way in the first round.
Yeah.
And then in the second round, when two people are going, then you can do the horse trading, and then the different parties can choose whom they're going to support.
I think that our political leaders are somehow very cloudy. It's difficult to understand them, and that's one reason why I will not venture too much into who might go into a coalition with who, because you can see them interacting.
Yes.
We all thought after 2016 that APRC is a witch. Nobody would go to, but everybody is tapping from APRC, and we see them interacting. So I think we can stand by and just observe, let them play their game. Like the Wolof would say, "Wiri jarinda." Okay. There will be a moment when things would be clear. We'll understand.
All right, gentlemen. John Charles Njie, the chairman of Tango, Demba Jawo, veteran journalist, and Fredrick Tendeng, editor of the Chronicle. Thank you very much for your perspectives on this week's topics on the brunch on Kerr. Until we come back next week, goodbye for now.
In communication, connectivity is everything. We ensure that the links never sleep. Quantities and qualities, all in our data service, providing efficient, reliable voice and data service. We believe if you're not up to speed, then you're going backwards. Communications have to flow as fast as the speed of light. Whatever business you're in, having someone who understands your needs is critical. That is why we just don't offer you technology, we offer you solutions. Enjoy Gamcel's internet broadband anytime, anywhere. Your national operator, Gamcel, Yaibaram.
For all your pastry, bakery, and quality food, CK Restaurant is the only place to be. We do catering for birthdays, weddings, and all related services. We have all kinds of local foods, American, European, and even beyond. Come and have a taste of our local juice, ebe, and other services. At CK Restaurant, customer satisfaction is our priority.
We live in a day and age where technology is creating a world without borders, filled with unlimited potential to improve the lives of the people around us. Innovarex Global Health ushers in a new way of leveling the playing field with increased access to quality healthcare services delivered at your doorstep. Our qualified professionals are equipped with state-of-the-art point-of-care testing technology to conduct tests such as kidney function, liver function, electrolyte tests, body composition, hemoglobin, A1C, and many more services with the highest efficiency in delivering results. The addition to our flagship Wellness on Wheels, more fondly known as WOW Delivery Service, brings the entire clinical experience full circle. IGH has remained committed to creating the future of healthcare delivery. Gone are the days of sending loved ones outside the country for basic medical services. Innovarex Global Health offers a new peace of mind and takes pride in delivering the quality of care we all deserve.